When we're working with Python and Excel, we need to be able to understand and troubleshoot error messages that we might see. Even if we're very careful, sometimes problems happen. The error message value represents an error in the value that Python is returning to us. We often see this if there's a Python error like an undefined variable or missing import or invalid method or something that raises an error instead of providing a data type that Excel expects. To explore the error further, we can right-click on the cell with the error and find Show Diagnostics. This shows the output from our Python program, so we can think of this as the console output in a Python IDE. Notice here that I'm trying to use the variable f, which hasn't been defined in my Python code in this workbook. This text is in red, and we see Python's name error exception here. So we'll need to fix that either by defining f or by using a different variable. Here in the formula bar, I'll change this to b, and the error goes away. The message external may also appear if there's a problem evaluating the code. The connect message appears if there's a problem reaching the Python cloud service. If you see this error, try resetting the Python environment and check your internet connection. We can reset the Python environment with this button on the Python section of the Formulas ribbon, or with a keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Shift-Alt-F9. Resetting the environment occurs on the cloud service and will keep all your Python code where it is. Another condition we might see related to the value that Python returns to Excel is none or none type, depending on what output mode the cell is using, which means that the last line of the code in the Python cell did not return a value. Remember that the value that appears in the Excel grid is the last value returned from a Python cell's code. While this isn't strictly an error, it can often indicate that something isn't quite how we expect it to be. For example, it's common to use print statements while troubleshooting a script, and if we have a print statement indicating success after the line we're working with is reached, we won't see the value of the statement we want the value from, because the print statement supersedes it. Here in the Diagnostics panel, I can see the result of this print statement. But the print statement doesn't return a value, and since it's the last line in the cell, we get none type in the cell. I'll remove the print statement, commit the cell, and there we go. There's the value that I was looking for, without the troubleshooting statement that was causing a problem. Here in the Diagnostics panel, I'll clear the diagnostics. I'd also like to mention two other messages we might see in a Python cell. Busy means that the Python cloud service is processing the code and is not an error. It should eventually go away and you'll see the result of your calculation. The spill message means that the area of whatever the Python cell would output has something in it already, and this is a good opportunity to consider whether you need to see the output of that cell. You could also move the Python cell or rearrange the nearby cells to make a clear area for the output in case you do need to see it. I'll delete this value here, and there's the output that was trying to show up. In this case, I'm using a tuple to provide more than one value, but we'll commonly see this when we work with ranges or plots, or if we have Excel values, which we'll explore later, outputting values to the grid. If you're accustomed to handling errors in Excel, some of these errors and messages will be familiar to you, but others may be new. And if you're used to working in Python, remember to look in the diagnostic panel for the troubleshooting feedback you're used to seeing in a console or editor.